bring in now Brad Micklin, a trial attorney, and Alice Hennigan, a columnist for the global metro papers called Trump's America. He's also the author of Trumpitude, The Secret Confessions of Donald's Brain. Alice, what was your reaction when you heard that?
Thuggery. It's the word that applies to both of those things. By the way, I can't believe you could read that prompter about that fist fight inside the consulate there with such a straight face, David. I mean, come on. We got to call this stuff out for what it is, right? Unacceptable, abusive, inappropriate, whether it's going on in the consulate in Turkey.
Talking about the consulate on the president's
well, you know what? You want to know? It's a really good question because kind of I'm talking about both. I'm not saying they're the equal, but I will tell you that kind of language out of the President of the United States sends a message to bad people around the world, and it says, you can get away with this kind of stuff, and we're not going to call you on it. Shameful on both sides.
Was it simply a joke?
I believe so. I mean, of course, I disagree. I think no matter what he would say, he'd be criticized. If you support him, then you think what he said was unjust. If you don't support him, you criticize him. He was making a joke of it, and while it's not appropriate possibly to joke about an assault, especially when I'm talking to news reporters, but the man served his time, he pled, it's something in his past, and it's time to move past it.
Well, Alice, you know, it's never okay to assault reporters, but, you know...
Anybody. Anybody.
And even the congressman, you know, he apologized for this incident. But what President Trump did do over the past 2 years is change or break the cycle in which the media can criticize policymakers, but policymakers can say nothing.
No. I mean, people have a right to criticize each other. I'm talking about making violent threats, dumbing down this kind of commentary. And frankly, I mean, listen, we're all old enough to remember when a president behaved presidentially. And the idea of promoting body slamming of reporters, or even worse, turning a blind eye to the kind of brutality that is almost unthinkable. I mean, try to get your head around the idea of somebody being chopped up inside a foreign consulate and then chopped up with a bone saw. I mean, if that doesn't make you outraged. Is it fine to say
fake news?
Fake news? No. Every single piece of it is real.
But here's what I don't understand, Brad. I mean, look, fake news is one thing. Actually encouraging somebody to be body slammed is another. Why is it that the president can't simply say to those media, look, I don't like those people in the back of the room. They don't give me a fair shake. Those reporters, they're biased. All that's fine. But to have to go and say, and I love this guy who body slammed a reporter. I mean, it does cross a line, doesn't it?
I don't think so.
Really?
I think Hillary threw down a gauntlet when she said we can't be civil unless we win. I mean, how was it appropriate for her to say that, but not
But she
Trump
wasn't singling out a specific case of violence towards a reporter.
I don't think he was singling out a case of violence. I think he was supporting an indivial who had been found...
who had a specific case of violence against one single reporter.
Right, but I think he was supporting him, not his act. It just...
Brad, why isn't it possible for Trump supporters to say, you know what, we like the guy, we like the people he's putting on the court, we support these policies, but some of this stuff he says is just wrong. I wouldn't want my kids to do it, and I don't want my president to do it.
Because they wouldn't say that. Those that support him will support him, and those that don't will crucify him no matter what he says.
Why don't you say that?
I did say that.
That it's wrong.
I don't think it's wrong to support an individual because he didn't act poorly in the past or committed... Look, if you knew about my past, you probably wouldn't have me on the show. But we can't,
really?
we can't crucify a person for...
Move over here.
Let's have a different conversation.
But again, there's a distinction that's made, right? I mean, we're not talking about what happened 15, 20, 30 years ago. We're talking about what Donald Trump said Thursday night.
Yeah, and I agree. Look, I would prefer to have a president who spoke more presidential.
Good. Okay.
I grew up with that. I'm used to that, and I encourage it. But we don't have that. At least we have somebody who speaks, and we know where he's speaking from. We know what he believes and what he doesn't believe. And if you support him, you can stand behind him. If you don't, you can stand against him. But at least you know where you need to stand.
And people are really sick of politically correctness.
Well, listen,
the president, I'm not saying that, of course, these comments are okay, of course not, but standing there and hearing the president saying, you know, things in his own style tells people it's fine not to be so politically correct anymore.
This is not that complicated, right? We all have friends and family, people we love and care about, and sometimes they do bad stuff, right? And what we say is, we like you, we love you, but don't do that. That's not good. Shut up. For some reason, the supporters of the president, the real base of the president, finds it impossible to say that. I wish they would.
Well, I think a lot of people also wish that Donald Trump would leave it at, oh, you remember what Gianforte did last year, ha-ha. I mean, maybe there's a joke there, but then to go and take it further and say, and that's why he's my guy, because of how he... And there's Donald Trump actually demonstrating. I mean, and I don't think people see a distinction, therefore, between thuggish behavior and somebody who's making a joke. In any case, Brad Micklin, a trial attorney, and Alice Hennigan, Trump's America columnist for the global metro papers, thank you both.
Thanks,